welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us this afternoon to learn more about Lakehead University and our exceptional kinesiology program. So this presentation is part of a webinar series that showcases different programs that we offer here at Lakehead. Today we'll be looking at our fantastic kinesiology program, of course. So we'll be diving further into life as a Lakehead kinesiology student, what you can expect both inside and outside the classroom, as well life beyond Lakehead with your kinesiology degree in hand. So today we are lucky enough to be joined by our two guests, Leanne Smith, who's the coordinator of our kinesiology program, and Abby Proteau, who is a current kinesiology student at Lakehead. They'll be giving us a better idea of the program and here to answer any questions that you may have for us. So before we begin, there's just a couple of housekeeping items I'd like to speak to. So please note that all participants, of course, other than our hosts, are being muted for the presentation portion of this webinar. However, we do encourage you to use our Q&A function located at the bottom navigation bar. So if you have any questions that you'd like us to answer, whether it's about the kinesiology program or admissions or scholarships or anything about student life here at Lakehead, we have an awesome team here to answer any of your questions. As well, my colleague Erin will be monitoring the chat, so you can use the chat function as well. So we'll be incorporating a Q&A session after talking about the kinesiology program. So if you have any questions later on the presentation, we urge you to ask us then. And lastly, of course, please be aware this time that we are all working remotely. So as a result, there may be some unexpected noises that we can't really control going on in the background. So I'd like to kick off this information session by introducing the team that will be speaking with you today. So my name is Ethan Pilsworth and I'm a recruitment advisor at Lakehead University. I currently work out of our Orillia campus, so I'm here in Southern Ontario. And I'm really passionate about sharing with everyone how great it is to pursue your education at Lakehead. I hope by the end of the presentation, you can really see why an education at Lakehead will set you apart from the crowd and give you opportunities like no other. So now I'm going to pass it off to my colleague, Erin. Well, he can introduce himself now.
Yeah, welcome everybody. My name is Erin. I'm a recruitment officer at Lakehead University as well. I also work out of the Orillia campus with Ethan, but I do recruit for both Thunder Bay and Orillia-based programs. I've been at Lakehead for almost 10 years now in the enrollment services department, and I typically work with high school, college, and university transfer students, as well as mature students looking to apply to Lakehead. So if you do have any questions after today, feel free to connect with me directly. We'll have our information posted in the chat throughout this evening, so you guys can always connect. But I'd be happy to answer any questions with you. So welcome, and I'll turn it over to our faculty and one of our current students.
Sorry, always slow with the unmute button. Hi, my name's Leanne Smith. I'm the Practice of Kinesiology and Community Placement Coordinator, which basically means I am the main contact for any kind of practical kind of activity that happens within our department. In addition to that, I have been teaching a first-year course for the past 3 years, as well as a fourth-year career exploration course. I coordinate our fourth-year hiking class. I love to get involved in these type of recruitment activities. And I'm also your School of Kinesiology contact if you're interested in doing a study abroad term or be part of our co-op program. I'll pass it on to Abby.
Yeah, so my name's Abby. I'm a current student. I actually finished my undergrad in kinesiology in 2020, and I'm now doing my master's in kinesiology, which has been great. Yeah, and you're going to hear a little bit more about questions and about Lakehead, but I chose Lakehead because I am from Thunder Bay and they have a great program. Being able to know each professor by their first name and have them know you by their first name is something I think is of great value in education. So the small class size is fantastic, and having so many labs has been a really great tool for my education. And I was lucky enough during my undergrad to be able to have a work study program and work as an athletic trainer for various teams. So there's a lot of great avenues to have employment through Lakehead, whether it be work studies to really aid in the education piece through kinesiology. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this presentation.
Awesome. Thanks, Abigail. So I'm just going to get started with a little bit about Lakehead for those who are maybe a little bit unfamiliar. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what you can expect as a future Lakehead Thunderwolf. So at Lakehead, we do encourage you to pursue your passion, but at the same time, step out of the crowd. Your experience at Lakehead is going to be anything but ordinary. So one thing that we're really proud of at Lakehead is that we are ranked as one of Canada's top 10 universities, as ranked by Maclean's magazine. And this may be attributed to the fact that we really do value experiential learning opportunities at Lakehead. As of right now, we are ranked the #2 undergraduate research university in all of Canada. And for the past 5 years, we were actually ranked #1. So it really shows how important we really do value research. And through research, you're going to have tons of opportunities to work alongside some of our world-renowned faculty, where you can be part of creating something new and work towards changing our future. So through these research opportunities, you're going to have opportunities in the first all the way to your 4th year of your degree, which is something that you don't really get at other schools. As well as Abby was just mentioning, we do have smaller classes here at Lakehead, with 90% of our classes having less than 60 students. This means that you get more of a personalized approach to your education. So you might have the opportunity to connect with your professors, to get to know them by name. And for some of our students, that's really helped them get into their careers a lot quicker. And at Lakehead, we really do have an unbeatable financial aid package. So we're actually currently ranked #1 in Ontario, with over $11 million annually provided to students. And so this spread across our 8,500 students that are at our 2 campuses, as well as our partnership program in Barrie, means that there's a ton of funding available for every single student. This is highlighted with our awesome entrance bursary scholarship, which is available to all students that have an 80+ average that are coming out of high school. As well, we have over 65 programs at Lakehead, which will prepare you for your future. So you'll be engaged in a hands-on learning environment that will equip you with skills and experience to enhance your theoretical learning. And as we said before, 99% of our students by their 4th year have engaged in some form of experiential learning. So whether it's through cooperative education or doing a practicum or placement, internships, or working with community partners, you'll learn by doing here at Lakehead. And this really does show. We have a 97.7% employment rate within 2 years of graduation, which is above the current provincial average, showing that we really do prepare our grads to be ready to jump in the field once they graduate from Lakehead. So at this point, we're going to be talking, of course, about the kinesiology program. So it does fall under the Faculty of Health and Behavioral Sciences. And so at this point, I'm actually going to pass it off to Leanne to dive a little bit further into the kinesiology program.
Great, thanks, Ethan. So yes, I'm sure that because you're part of this particular webinar that you already know what kinesiology is, but I'm going to start by just reviewing it and summarizing in general. So basically, kinesiology is the study of human movement. It can be applied in the areas of sport, work, rehabilitation, exercise, and recreation. And when we're studying kinesiology, we consider the physiological, biomechanical, and psychological mechanisms that impact movement. Our programs offer a number of courses that focus on these areas. Go to the next. So within our program too, we have a number of degree options. We have the Honors Bachelor of Kinesiology, that is a 4-year program. We have the Honors Bachelor of Kinesiology with a co-op option, which adds an additional year to your degree period, but it also means you graduate with up to 16 months of relevant work experience. So you've got that on your resume when you're graduating and ready to apply for jobs. We have an Honors Bachelor of Kinesiology with a concurrent Bachelor of Education. So you can graduate in 5 or 6 years with 2 degrees, both an education degree and the kinesiology degree. If you do it in the regular time span, it will take you 6 years. You complete your kinesiology requirements in the first 4 years. and take a few education requirements. And then the last 2 years are your professional years where you're preparing to become a teacher. We do in the kin program have an accelerated option. So you can actually complete these 2 degrees in 5 years, but it does mean you're going to be taking courses in the spring summer term as well. So you're kind of going to school around the full year. You get about a month off between years. Entry to our programs for the HBK, the co-op, and the 6-year program all require you to have a 70% average in your grade 12 courses. But entrance into the accelerated program requires you to have a 75% average. For the kin program, the co-op program, you can apply right away, but you aren't officially entered into the co-op program until you complete your first year of kinesiology, and then acceptance is based on you completing an application and having at least 75% in your 75% average in your first 5 kin courses in first year. So admission requirements for our program include grade 12 English and math, 2 sciences, which could include chemistry, physics, intro to kinesiology, or biology, and then 2 additional grade 12 URM credits. So why would you want to choose Lakehead over other kinesiology programs? Well, as both Abby and Ethan have already mentioned, we do have small classes. And so my first year class this year has 70 students in it. It was about the same last year, but that class also breaks down into lab sections. And in those lab sections, I have anywhere from 15 to 20 students. So you really get a chance to get to know each other, and your grad student GAs or teaching assistants, as well as your professors, because they're all involved and get to know you. In addition, every year, right from year 1, there are practical hands-on opportunities for you to apply what you've learned in the classroom in a real life setting. So whether that's in labs like the labs that I was just mentioning, where you work with your peers, or there's opportunities to take your lab learning out into the community right again from first year. So second semester, you will engage with infants, go to a preschool, and you work with 2 to 5-year-olds, and then into elementary schools and high schools, and then even older adults who come in to do some basic fitness testing with you. And that kind of continues across all years. In addition, other opportunities for you include the co-op program that I mentioned already, as well as really interesting things like taking a term and traveling to England or Australia or Singapore and completing your kinesiology courses there. So you would register at Lakehead, but then travel abroad and get some of your credits there before returning and continuing your degree back at home. Reasons that people choose Lakehead also is, 1, if you live locally, it's close by and you don't have to leave home. But 2, if you don't live locally, it's a beautiful place, and who doesn't want to go to school where you can be a 5-minute drive out into the wilderness where you can hike and ski, snowshoe, you name it. There's so many activities that you can do right there, as well as seeing beautiful nature. So it's a great combination. What else was I going to tell you here? Oh, the degree that we have is the Honors Bachelor of Kinesiology. And what that honors means is that all of our graduates will complete a fourth-year research project. Some of those students do them independently, while others do them in small groups. And with that opportunity, you will work with a faculty supervisor, and you will actually develop your own research question, do background literature reviews, and then complete your own ethics, and then your own actual research project. So it's very good opportunity to introduce you to the idea of research, in case you want to go on and pursue advanced education, or it's also just very useful so that you understand research. Most people who enter kinesiology want to get into some kind of healthcare field where evidence-based practice is really important. So knowing how to understand research and apply it in a real life setting. So it's great exposure there. There often are questions because kinesiology is such a broad degree and covers so many areas, but you think, what can I actually do with my degree? The good thing is, because it's broad and diverse, exposes you to a lot of topics, that also gives you the opportunity to do many different things once you graduate. So I'm going to show you just a list of some examples of what people have done with their kin degrees. You might not be aware, but in Ontario, kinesiology, or being a kinesiologist, is a regulated health profession, just as PT, OT, doctors, nurses, dentists all are. So it's a profession where it's regulated by a regulatory college. And what that means is that the public is aware that if they're seeing a kinesiologist, then they know that they are meeting a set standard of practice, and they can be confident and comfortable in the skill set and the work that they're doing with them. In addition to being a kinesiologist, there are many other options, from teacher, trainer, coach, working more in the nutrition area. As a kinesiologist, you could work as a rehab specialist. You could work in ergonomics, in cardiac rehab and exercise physiology, so many things. And then beyond that, you can use it as a foundation to get into other programs that require a second degree, like physiotherapy and occupational therapy. Maybe you want to make prosthetics and learn how to do that. Well, you need to have a primary degree first, and kin is a good option there. We've had people go on to do speech language pathology, become physician assistants. We've actually even had people go on to become lawyers and dentists. So you just don't know where this degree might lead you, because it's you're learning about the human body, and that applies to so many different career opportunities. And this is just a little bit more, forgot to mention, you might want to become a teacher, or maybe even a professor at a university, or get on to do some research. Having that foundation too helps you be able to get into the area of sales, whether that's pharmaceutical sales or assistive device sales. Again, it's just a good overall kind of health-related degree.
Awesome, thanks, Leanne. So I think that's a really good overview and a kind of a perfect setup to maybe chat with Abby, who's a current student, both finished her undergrad and now doing her master's in kinesiology, to maybe get her experience on the whole kin program and what it's like to study kinesiology at Lakehead. So Abby, maybe just talk a little bit about maybe why you chose Lakehead and your Lakehead experience, and some of the neat opportunities you've had studying kinesiology at Lakehead.
Yeah, I had a very fortunate experience at Lakehead. I was very lucky to have a lot of cool opportunities. I chose Lakehead because I am from Thunder Bay, and it's familiar and they have great courses. I was able to see a lot of the campus prior to choosing Lakehead, and I think that was a great opportunity. And even being able to do it virtually now is great because you're able to see how nice the campus is, that you can go for a walk between classes, which I found really great to be able to do. And then for me, I think the biggest thing or advice I could give is always being open. I went into kinesiology dead set that I was going to be a physiotherapist. And then I was able to have the opportunity to be an athletic trainer for my whole 4 years of my undergrad. And that kind of shifted my career path. Once I did my 4th year research project, like Leanne said, I had the opportunity to work independently. And I actually did research that I'm continuing now with Hockey Canada, which has been great. And that kind of showed me that I really enjoy research and education. And now I'm working with a pharmaceutical company in education for obesity and diabetes. So I think keeping an open mind throughout your degree is really important because it kind of shapes different paths that you could take through different courses. I never thought that I would enjoy a research methods class, but now it might have been my favorite class in university, and I really enjoyed a lot of different things. Your family might think that you are their diagnosis of injuries after you take a MSK course or an injury course, which is quite funny, but you will know a lot more about things when you start to take those kind of courses and kind of be able to help people out. So I think it's a great opportunity to learn more about kind of where your career is going to take you.
That's awesome. Did you, I think you kind of mentioned it in your talk there, but did you have an interest in, research or like parts of research going in? It's something that a lot of high school students aren't usually aware of when they come to university, but it kind of becomes like a big passion, or you kind of find a certain area within your program you're interested in, and you can kind of pursue that. So how did you kind of get to that?
I didn't know that I liked research until 4th year when I did my project independently. So no, I had no idea in high school. I was dead set on being a physiotherapist, and that was it. So I think that, again, taking different courses and using your electives as a tool to take different things to really explore, I think is the best opportunity that Lakehead gives.
Awesome. And then were there kind of any maybe interesting courses or favorite courses or labs that you had? You don't have to, maybe you should say one that Leanne taught if you had Leanne for a professor. But
Leanne was not my professor. I am too old.
Is any others that you can think of?
Yeah, well, I do enjoy research courses, but I think hands-on stuff was really fun to take. MSK, which was an injury course, so you were able to have labs as well as understanding from a course or lecture perspective, and really go through scenarios of different injuries, which played into the role I had. I actually was the first student and female to have the position with the Thunderwolves, so it's our male hockey team. And that really helped me with my position there because it was injury prevention and intervention. So it really held my position that I had and really helped me exemplify what I was learning in school and the job that I got through a work study at Lakehead. So really looking into different opportunities Lakehead offers, you never know really what you'll stumble on, and it could be something that's a passion of yours.
That's awesome. Since you kind of mentioned it, how did the work study program kind of work? It was just a position that was available that you could kind of apply for, and how many hours kind of roughly did you work in that position? So
in my first year, someone had come around to each class mentioning it, and then there was like an open meeting. And then in my first year, I volunteered, and then in second year, I got a paid position, which was, I believe, they're 20 hours a week, but don't quote me exactly on it. I think it depends on each work study. And then once I got signed with the hockey team, I was working a lot more, but that was just because I was the only person there. But you typically are about 20 hours is my best approximation for what it typically is.
Awesome, thanks. Yeah, it's we always get asked about kind of part-time jobs on campus, and it's great to know there's work study positions that are related to your program as well, which is
I think if you do go to Lakehead, you're able to have, I think it's called My Success Portal, and under there's a list of work study positions.
Perfect. Thanks.
Another recent one that came up is in the student health and wellness office working with the health promoter. So it's just a completely different area, but still related to kin. So there are, yeah, definitely opportunities that pop up. It's great.
That's awesome. Well, I'm waiting patiently for more questions to get dropped in the Q&A, and we encourage everybody to drop some questions in the Q&A function if you want to ask some questions for Abby and Leanne before we finish up in a little bit here. And Ethan's going to cover a little bit more around the Lakehead experience in just a sec, but maybe a last question for both of you. Do you have any advice for a future kinesiology student looking to apply to Lakehead? Any advice around the profession or the program or anything you can maybe speak to?
Yeah, I think kind of like I mentioned, is just keeping an open mind that, you know, things change and your career path might change, but it's a good thing to explore different options and keep your eye open for different things you can sit in on, different clubs to go to, you know, different events that there are that you can meet new people. And even looking out of Thunder Bay, I saw that there was a question about lifeguards. There's a pool at Lakehead. There's a lot of different components around the city as well to be able to look into. So just, I think, being able to look into different opportunities and having an open mind.
Thanks, Abby. Anything to add to that, Leanne?
Yeah, just following up with the lifeguard question. Yes, they're definitely always looking for lifeguards at Lakehead. So you can definitely apply there. And just doing what you mentioned as well, because I do remember you being very committed to being an athletic therapist, and only that was the only thing. And but then that is the most important thing to do, is just keep a really open mind and try all different things out, because there are just so many different paths you could head down. Couldn't even think of all the options that you can end up doing with this as your foundation. So yeah, it's pretty exciting that way, as long as you do keep an open mind.
Well, thanks to you both. Yeah, that's definitely my biggest piece of advice to students. Just keep your options open, explore, have some fun in year one, and take a variety of courses and electives, and just trying to find the best fit for you. And kinesiology is a great program from a career perspective, because it sets you up with so many different options afterwards. It's awesome. So it's great. So
I even knew a student who had a really a strong interest and skill in art, who's an artist, and ended up using their kin degree and their art degree to become an illustrationist for textbooks for anatomy, because they knew how the body moved and they could actually draw it. So bring those two things together. And people who have computer skills and combining the technical side of maybe building new wearable technologies and understanding the physiology and how the body works, and being able to combine those things. For the biomechanics and creating new equipment, the biomechanics and ergonomic side of things. So there's just a lot of options where you can combine your interests.
that's awesome. Thanks, Leanne. I'm gonna make a note of that one. It's a good example to use, a unique opportunity that you can get into as well. That's cool. So I'm just looking at the Q&A, and we've answered a few of them. I know I do have a question around residents, and Ethan's actually going to cover residents coming up next. So maybe we'll leave that question for now, just so Ethan can cover it, and keep those questions coming in through the Q&A, and we'll be happy to share those with Abby and Leanne as we wrap up here in the next few slides. So thanks for the questions, and Ethan, I'll turn it over to you.
Awesome, thanks, Aaron. So actually, we weren't really going to address residents too much, but I can address the question. So I see that you're asking about specific residents kinesiology students reside in. So short answer is no. However, our resident staff, they do basically, when you're being put into residence, they try to put you with like-minded individuals. So sometimes you'll be putting into rooms that have other kinesiology students or people within the same faculty. So they really try to get you to be with students that are in the same classes as you can study with, get to know them super well, which is a really awesome opportunity. So I'm going to move on here. So now that we've covered the kinesiology program and talked about why education at Lakehead is really exceptional and unconventional, I'm going to touch upon the next steps that you can take to become a Lakehead student. So here's a quick look at some of the really important dates to be aware of. So whatever you need to do, put it in your calendar, set a reminder. These are some really important dates to become a Lakehead student. So January 13th is the application deadline for currently enrolled high school students. So of course, this is the most important deadline. You want to try and get the application in before that date to be considered for the first round. And then we have some great financial aid opportunities. Deadlines taking place on April 15th is the entrance bursary deadline, which, as I was mentioning earlier, that's for a ton of students who are coming in from high school. If you want to apply for some extra financial aid opportunities, I really urge you to check that out. Our President's Scholarship application deadline takes place on April 24th. So that's actually a $30,000 scholarship. So it's meant for a student who does show great citizenship and sense of community within their current community. So really awesome scholarship to take advantage of. I really urge you to check that out. And then on June 1st, that's the deadline to accept your offer admission from Lakehead. So you really don't want to miss that date there. And lastly, our entrance bursaries deadline takes place on June 30th. So again, check our website out. They're all posted on the website if you need to be more aware of these dates moving forward in the school year. And so, as Abigail mentioned, a really awesome way to get a feel for the campus is to check out our campus itself. So we are doing virtual campus tours right now. However, we are doing in-person tours as well. So pretty exciting if you want to check them out for yourself. Both our Thunder Bay and Aurelia campuses are now open up for in-person tours. You can either do a guided tour, or if you want to do virtual again, you can just tour the campus yourself if you feel you want to do it that way. We have tours running every single week. So check out our website on lakehead.ca/tours to check that out there. As well, we had a really awesome open house that took place a couple of weeks ago. Had a great engagement, tons of students came, and it was a really fun experience for everybody. So we are running a second open house this fall on Wednesday, December 8th at 5 p.m. And open house really is just a great way for you to meet other students interested in Lakehead, also tour the campus, meet with future professors. So really great opportunity. I really urge you to check it out to kind of get a better feel for Lakehead. As well, we are running basically webinars going every single day at this point. So we have a variety of webinars, whether you want to go to our All About Lakehead series, which is just a general information session, or more of a focused showcase of our Getting to Know Lakehead series and our Discover Lakehead series that you're with us today. So check out our upcoming events webpage to check out what we have going on for the entire fall. As well, you can always ask us any questions. We're here to chat anytime. So if you want to book a one-on-one meeting with me or another member of my team, or just have a phone call, whatever you need to do, we're always open to have any questions to us. So feel free to reach out to us anytime. And with your Lakehead journey, this is just the beginning. So with the presentation coming to an end, we do want to stay in touch with you during the school year to kind of share what it is truly like to be a Lakehead Thunderwolf. So you can check us out on social media to kind of see what's going on during the school year, visit us online, or book a campus tour with us. And there's so much more to do with Lakehead. So please reach out to me or another member of my team directly. We're here to help you with any questions you do have with the university. And so, yeah, thanks for joining us today. And I really hope you have a great rest of your school year. We do look forward to connecting again with you soon. So for those who do have any questions right now, please feel free to do so before we wrap things up. Again, use that Q&A function located at the bottom bar. I'm not sure if we do have anything there, Aaron, if we got for right now.
Yeah, for sure. We had one question come in a little bit earlier in regards to if we had a sports med clinic or some sort of clinic on campus related to our kinesiology program. So Abby and Leanne, if you want to maybe touch on the facilities and even the new Wolf Den and just our athletic complex as well, that'd be great.
Yeah, so there is a clinic. There's actually two. They're not directly related to the School of Kinesiology, but we are in basically the same building. So there's an athletic therapy clinic, which the head athletic therapist for the university, she works out of, and that's where all the athletes are treated. And that's where Abby would have gone in and done her training and met with, worked with some of the teams right there if she wasn't out with the sports team. But then we also have a private clinic, and we have a new facility that's been added on to our original athletics facility. And there's an addition, and there's a new office being put in there that's just a typical physiotherapy clinic with also, I think massage therapy will be in there. Previously, both clinics were together, and now they've kind of separated, so they have their own spaces, and there's more space for everyone. There's also some sports medicine doctors that work in the offices as well. Abby, do you want to add anything in?
No, I think that's where I worked out of, was the sports medicine clinic, and there is like taping and wrapping courses as well that are offered, and first aid courses that are offered. And Joanna's the head athletic therapist who typically runs those. If that's something you're interested, I would recommend reaching out to her because she's always looking for new trainers or people to help out at the clinic. So if that's something you'd like to do, I would definitely suggest just popping in.
Perfect. Thanks, guys. Yeah, it's always good to build your resume and just get as much experience as you can outside of your actual lectures and your labs, because when you graduate from the program, like any degree, you're going to want to be able to sell yourself, right? And really, have an added experience to share in your first job interview, or if you're applying to grad school or something. There's hundreds of students that graduate with degrees, and it's really the extra stuff that you do and the opportunities you have at Lakehead with the kinesiology program that can really help you with that. So that's a good example and good tips.
We just started this term as well, a new opportunity for our students. It's to be a student strength and conditioning coach. So 3 of the varsity teams wanted a strength and conditioning coach. So we've got a head strength and conditioning coach, and she's just trained some students, and they're going to lead the teams through their strength and conditioning programs as well. So more and more little opportunities come up for our students. So it's great.
That's awesome. Was wrestling one of those teams, Leanne?
Wrestling and basketball, both the basketball teams. Yeah.
Right on. Cool. Well, one question that we didn't have in the chat, but I forgot to ask you earlier was there's obviously a lot of programs out there in Ontario, exercise science programs, there's kinesiology, there's some schools have an arts program, some have a science program. Where does our honors Bachelor of Kinesiology kind of fall into that? You don't have to name other schools or anything, but just to kind of compare how our program is just in terms of fit and courses. I know you've talked about this lots over the years.
Yeah, so in this program you graduate. So some programs you graduate with a Bachelor of Arts in Kinesiology, some a Bachelor of Science in Kinesiology, and some like ours have a Bachelor of Kinesiology. So what that means is you're going to get exposed to both the science and some of the social science and humanities components. So we cover some pure science courses. You're going to take an organic and biochem course, anatomy, human physiology, but then you're also taking the sports psychology, lifestyle counseling, sociology of physical activity courses, so that you're a very well-rounded kinesiology graduate. And you start right from first year into kinesiology courses. Some programs you might get into a general science program in the first year, and then based on your grades, you'll get into either a Bachelor of Arts or a Bachelor of Science, or based on your interest. But with ours, you start in kinesiology and you're immediately taking kinesiology courses, and there's no further application or anything requirement. Another good thing is with the degree, if you do choose to go down the registered kinesiology path, the courses that are covered in our degree prepare you. They cover all the content areas so that you would be able to challenge that entry to practice exam, and would have covered all of the topic areas. You don't have to worry about making sure that you choose the correct electives to meet those requirements. It's all just mandatory as part of our degree. So I hope that explains that.
Yeah, I think that was perfect. It's and there's lots of different programs out there, and I always stress exactly what you said to students, that it's kind of like a perfect blend between the sciences as well as some of the social sciences as well, that it really sets you up in terms of practice and the practice of kinesiology. So it's a great opportunity if you're looking for that lab experience. Abby, I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about your experience working in the labs and some of those hands-on courses you've had, but it's definitely a good opportunity from that perspective.
Yeah, I really enjoyed all my labs. I think a lot of them stood out. Even the first year course that Leanne was talking about, that we went into schools and we got to work with different populations. I think that was really unique. Yeah, I think that all the labs provided some sort of benefit in regards to adding to the lectures from a standpoint of changing something to hands-on. So I think most of the courses really do have a lab, and it was great to even be able to connect with peers in that way. So I know a lot of people who weren't from Thunder Bay, that was kind of the best way that they had to connect with some people, especially in first year, because a lot of times you're meeting so many new people and you get to have different groups in your labs, and then you can make lifelong friends in that way. So I think labs really kind of push you a little bit out of your comfort zone to actually show your knowledge, not just sitting there and listening. And then it also kind of pushes you to meet new people. So I think that they're a great tool for learning.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's all about collaboration, and that's kind of the nice thing with the smaller classes, right? It's just easier to get to know the cohort and the students in your program, and faculty like Leanne as well. It's easy to get lost in a crowd at kind of a larger university, and that's why a lot of students end up coming to Lakehead, right? So that's a perfect wrap up, I think. We haven't had any new questions kind of come in through the Q&A, so I think maybe we'll leave it there for this evening. Ethan, I don't know if there's anything else you'd like to add, but like we said earlier, feel free to connect with us. We have lots more webinars coming up. We have a virtual open house on December 8th, so we know it's kind of getting closer to maybe that period where you're considering applications to Ontario universities, and yeah, we hope to connect with some of you later on in the future, and hopefully Leanne, we'll see some of you next September as well. So thanks everybody for joining, and Ethan, I'll turn it over to you to just kind of wrap up quick.
Yeah, thanks, Aaron. From my end here, I don't have anything else to add, so I think we're good to wrap it up. So again, yeah, feel free to reach out to us if you guys want to. And again, best luck with you the rest of your school year. I know grade 12 can be pretty high pressure for you there. So yeah, good luck with your schooling there. And we hope to see you again at another event this fall. So thanks, everybody. Take care. Bye.